Brighton are incredible. They have an incredible coach, have an incredible side. The guys are really dominant, playing really good football and scoring goals, man.
Chelsea, they will go to Saturday, the games on Saturday. We have Bournemouth, they're going to host Tottenham Hotspur. Richard, I think you have interest in this one. What's the overall expectation of how this game is going to pan out?
Well, I think it's too soon to say how Tottenham will do. I mean, they're playing in a different way, clearly, from the way they were playing under Conte and Mourinho. They're more front foot and more attacking. So, but like I said, it's really early in the season. Bournemouth too are another front foot team. They're not really a counter-attacking team.
Yeah, they like to play
yes,
football.
Yeah. So if Tottenham play the way they played the last two games, and Bournemouth play the way they've been playing, basically, the Bournemouth we know that play expansive football, it should be an interesting game. I also believe that I think Tottenham will win, but it's the truth of the matter is it's really early in the season to be able to predict with any accuracy what teams will do. But but I think Tottenham will win. That's what I think. Okay. If they play the way they've been playing in the last two games.
Yeah, I heard that Song is going to be the new permanent captain for Tottenham. I watched their game last weekend. Then again, this guy, what's his name, Kulusevski. He seems not to. It's been a little bit now, even toward the end of last season. He wasn't really as sharp as we've known him to be. Last weekend, he had some moments, but the final balls, really was bad for him. He couldn't find the goal. He couldn't find the final pass. Song as well. They also have Richarlison right there. I can't remember if he scored any goal last season in the league. This season again, he has started all the two games, no goals. Harry Kane has left the team. Do you think? I know they have scored a few goals, but most of them came from the midfield. The front players haven't really been firing for Tottenham. If this continues, don't you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be an issue for the team? You're on mute.
Oh, my apologies. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be an issue because, we've seen Arsenal do the same thing. We've seen Arsenal last season get major contributions from the midfielders. As long as the midfielders are scoring goals, the likes of Odegaard scored 15, Saka scored 15 or so, or a little less than that. So I think that it bodes well for them. If Harry Kane is not there and the midfielders have started scoring goals, it's going to help their team because that takes a little bit of pressure off the forwards, especially Richarlison. And then Son, we know what Son scores in streaks. Once he gets into that streak, he just keeps scoring goals. So now that he's not scoring and they are managing to win games, when he starts scoring, it's going to even help them even more. So, credit to Ange, what he's doing at Tottenham. Like Richard said, it's still quite early to really predict what will happen. But there are good signs coming from Tottenham so far.
Yeah, but the problem with them, according to what you just said, is even their wingers are not so far just the two games anyway. But they have scored, I think, in total as a team. I think they've scored 6 goals so far, or 4 goals.
4.
And from what
2 in each game.
Yes, and from what I saw, Son doesn't look like, he had a very long stretch of games last season that he didn't score, and even the fans were beginning to call for his head that he should be out of the starting 11 because he didn't score for long periods. If that continues this season, I don't think is going to be okay for Tottenham because Richarlison is not reliable. And midfielders can score goals, but you can't rely on your midfielders to get you goals that push you up the table. Another player two players I want to take interest in as well is Pasuma and Madison. Choma, have you watched in Tottenham game this season? What do you think about these two players, their resurgence? Because Madison couldn't really do much in less than the last season. Pasuma was almost not seen all through last season in Tottenham, but all of a sudden he's been doing bits. What do you think about their resurgence?
Well, for Madison, I've never really been a huge fan of Madison while he was in Leicester. I thought he was too slow. He just doesn't. There was something about Leicester that he didn't fit. I don't think he's quick on the ball. Yeah, he's a thinker. He knows what to do, but he's not really quick on the ball. He's not. I don't think he's creative enough. So I see him in Tottenham, and he's trying to move the game. He's trying to move the ball, and he looks like he has finally found, a footing in a team. So I think it's good. And for Pasuma, I think they're looking good. I hope they get goals this season.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Because Pasuma, especially, I've personally been a fan of that player. When he was in Brighton, I was rooting for Arsenal, to get him into, because especially before we signed the Partey, we for a very long time, Arsenal did not address that position in the team until Arteta came and insisted on getting Partey. I was like, Arsenal should go ahead and get Pasuma, So when he moved to Tottenham, and it looked like, it looked like he was even going to go on loan or something like that. What's his name? Conte never really trusted him. I remember very well. I said it in our last episode. I heard him one day say that Pasuma is improving tactically, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, seriously?" But good thing for him and his career. Another coach has come and given him the platform to flourish, and he's really flourished. And another player that has helped him so much is the young man, Pape Sarr. For me, between him and Pasuma, one of them should get the man of the match in the last game against United. I think it was given to Pasuma. So at the end of the show, we'll do our predictions on these games, and let's see what our crystal ball tells us about the games to come. Another exciting game we're going to have this weekend will be Brentford against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace last week showed that they have some tools in their team to hurt teams off-road. Most times they play the negative approach, the parking the balls approach to games. But it surprises me that with players like Ayu, like Eze, like what's the other Nigerian Olise, players like this in the team, Edward, sometimes they spring surprises, but when they come at you, you all of a sudden see a team that is exciting. You all of a sudden see a team that has technicians in the squad to hurt you with some fine moves. Brentford, we also know, is another team, though people don't really rate them. They're not one of the big teams.
I like how you said fine moves. I like your fine moves. It's not like it's fine, but it doesn't get the goal sometimes. Like Ayu has the moves, he threatens you, but how many goals did he get last season?
Last season, yeah, he's always he's poor with output.
Usually a miss, yeah. They come at you like Tottenham. It's not like they are big on anything anyway. So
yeah. So then Brentford, on the other hand, too, is another exciting team. If we can remember what they have done the last 2 seasons in EPL, so it looks like this one is going to be very exciting and tasty as well. Nini, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I have thoughts, but just to piggyback to the Tottenham, just quickly, I think that Chioma, very good analysis, but I've always, you could go back. I have so many Chelsea chats. I've always said I love Maddison. If there are 2 players that you mentioned, Bissouma, Maddison. Before Bissouma went to Tottenham, on my Chelsea chats, I said we need that boy because he could do what I call the dirty job. His ball IQ is good. He went to Tottenham, Conte didn't fit his style. And Conte made a comment that he needed smart players. Bissouma, amplifying Bissouma is not smart enough. Yeah. He's a very good player, and he will shine with Alan Postecoglou, the new Tottenham coach. He likes fluidity. It gives players the opportunity to show themselves, right?
Yeah.
And you talked about Madison. I've always said I will break the bank for Madison. I talked about Chelsea having that player from from midfield to offense. That is Madison. Let's look at the stats. For the past 4 seasons, outside the top 3 teams, he has produced the highest goals and the highest assists for a midfielder in the EPL. That tells you a lot when you play for Leicester with the less resources that you have. Coming into Tottenham, he will be a blockbuster hit. For Richarlison will flourish in a 3-5-2 system, just playing behind the main striker. Richarlison has never been the main focal point as a top 9. He flourishes because if you watch Richarlison, he always has the goal to his back. He wants to get the ball, lead people in, and go in. And that is, for him to be a number 9, I expect Tottenham to get a true number 9. And going to the game, Brentford versus
Crystal Palace.
Versus Crystal Palace. Thank you. Crystal Palace is a good team. They brought a dinosaur coach Hodgson back. He should be over 80, 90 years old now, still trying to get things done. But he's good at steadying the ship. He has steadied the ship. Unfortunately, they let Patrick Vieira go. That was my man, but they needed the job done. They haven't recruited that much, the players that they have. So I foresee he's going to stabilize the ship. It's going to be a mid-table finish. For Brentford, Thomas Frank, he's all about analytics. They lost Ivan Toney, but Wisuma and Wise and Bueno have been doing the job right. So they have a system. Brentford has a system that you could take Osborne Odunze off and Reggie comes in. It's still going to keep working because they have a system that they play. So when I look at Brentford, I look at a team that is well-oiled, that will continue to do well. And with the coach that they have, I expect Brentford to sneak this in. When we go to predictions, we're going to get there, but I expect Brentford to sneak this in. With their system, the way they play, they should win this game.
Do you have any thought on this game before we move to United?
No, we can move on.
Okay, yeah, I think I agree with Nini right there. The only thing that might be difficult for both teams to do in that game is Brentford sometimes like to play on the counter, and knowing Crystal Palace as a negative philosophy team, I don't know how that's going to work. So it's going to be a game of chase. Who is going to move first? If Crystal Palace open up in this game, obviously I expect Brentford to hurt them because most times those guys are electric in counters, especially in the Mbeumo you mentioned. Each time that guy comes in for Ivan Toney, he seems to make things happen. So let's see how this one is going to. And then Crystal Palace, I think they won their first game and lost to Arsenal, so they need the points on the board. So it looks like sorry.
Sorry for cutting in. There are other issues too. This is another derby.
Yeah.
The other thing is that Brentford very rarely lose home games. Last season they only lost 2 home games, I think to Arsenal and to Newcastle.
Newcastle, yeah.
They were the only 2 home games they lost. So yeah, generally in a derby, sort of form tends to go out of the window. But Brentford are very strong at home, and like I said before, it's really early in the season, but on form, you'd expect. Okay, we're not doing predictions now, but I think Brentford should be stronger than Palace simply because it's a home game.
Yeah, Richard, it's good you said that because I just thought back now. I remember sometime last season he was almost sure that Brentford was going to make it to Europe this season. So they had a very strong run at home last season, and that pushed them to, at some point they were 7th on the league table for sustained period of time until things happen. Yeah, they are very strong at home, and we hope that they continue that this season. So we move to United. They're going to be at home at Old Trafford to Nottingham Forest. This one, I don't even know where to place it. Right now, some people are beginning to ask questions. So United begin to look at Erik ten Hag right now as the issue at the way the team is playing. Because if you look at United 11 now, almost 90% of those players are players that came in after Ten Hag joined the team. So it's more like a Ten Hag team now. Yes, you can argue that most of the players that he signed were not his first choice targets, but somehow he had to work with them. He personally brought in Anthony, and a lot of people are questioning the guy's performance and attitude in games. So it's up to Erik ten Hag to get the best out of him if we haven't really seen the best of him. You know, then again, in the last game he played Rashford as the 9, the last 2 games as 9, using Garnacho on the left and Anthony on the right. You have Marshall fit. So when I begin to question, why not play Marshall in the middle of the attack and use Rashford in his normal, usual left side attack position? So there are questions there to be asked in Ten Hag. Some are also laying blame to the owners for not funding the transfers for the first, the first targets this season. They've been chasing Amrabat for the past 2 or 3 months now. Up until now, they haven't been able to conclude that deal. So, Choma, I don't know. So if you were to ask, are you going to put the bulk on Ten Hag's table, or is it that they will still have to also give him time?
I don't want to, I have a soft spot for United actually, so I wouldn't want to heap the blame on Ten Hag. I see what he's doing. He's trying to be this season football coach. Things are changing. In football, you're seeing these days, you're looking at top defenders pulling up as attackers, pushing attack and scoring football. Ten Hag is trying to be very creative. He's struggling with his midfield. He doesn't even know that, okay? There's this whole Casemiro can play side by side with Mount. Mount can play next to Bruno Fernandes. It's still a mix-up somewhere. Something is happening, okay? And when your midfield isn't responding, you tend to have a problem. And then at the wing, who do they have? A very playful, arrogant Anthony, okay? Like, I'm so sorry, but with the way that guy found his way into that club, I heard he even did some sort of, fasting or whatever. He actually put up a show to come to United, like he really wanted to be the Martinelli they needed. Do you understand? But this guy, you are supposed to be quick on the ball. I mean, you have the likes of Rashford to actually pick up from wherever you leave the ball to score. I don't know if you watched their last game. Rashford literally took a pass from his leg. He took a pass from his leg. You can't stay on the ball you're supposed to pass. There's timing for everything. Anthony, you need to be timely, pass the ball to Rashford. There's a reason he's the one running up front, but he stays on the ball too long. He stops the game, the game loses a sync. So personally, I don't think it's a Ten Hag thing. It could just be the whole, they didn't get him the players he needed. And may I say that I'm so excited that it had nothing to do with CR7. Because as of season ago, they kept saying it was Ronaldo's fault. It was Ronaldo's fault. He came in with so much, he came in with his glory. Boys, his head is so heavy, his money so heavy, boys can't concentrate. Okay, so can you give me a reason why you wouldn't play Martial? You wouldn't start him. You're good enough to mess up with the play, then start Martial. Take away that and see, that guy is a waste though. It's not because I don't beef United. I'm never like this with United. But if they don't sort that boy at that wing out, it's going to be a loss every day. He just messes up the whole place.
Yeah, so Richard, like Choma said, Ten Hag paid a lot of money, or made the club pay a lot of money bringing Anthony. And if you watch United game last week, or the last 2 games, Rashford playing up front it's been difficult for him to get service. So until United will be playing until Eriksen comes into the game, it's difficult to get service to the players up front. So who is to be blamed on this issue, and how do they resolve this matter? Is there any reshuffling that needs to be done in the squad, to get United firing up front?
Well, I think if Casemiro continues to play the way he played against Tottenham, United are in trouble. The other thing, I said it, I think I've said it on this show before, that I really don't see United as any sort of a threat. I wasn't expecting much from United this season. Like you said before, or I've said before, it's early in the season, but I'm not surprised. They could have very easily lost to Wolves. They were really lucky to win that match. So, and then when you think about it, why would they spend all that money and give a contract of that length to somebody like Casemiro? I mean, when they bought him, he was a good player, but he was on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's not even surprising that maybe I'll be proved wrong and he returns to form. Maybe he's another Modric, who knows? But right now, yeah, but right now, it's looking like they've backed the wrong horse. His legs appear to have gone. So I don't know. I don't. Like Chioma said, maybe this is a bit lighthearted, but if you look at somebody like Anthony doesn't look like a footballer. He looks like a gang member. He doesn't. He doesn't look like a serious person. No, but it's true. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to get lots of flack for this, but but really, I mean, and think about how much money they spent on him.
Yeah.
This is more than one season in, right? This is his second season, and the only thing he's really done is scored against Arsenal.
Yeah,
that's the only thing he's done.
Yeah. So take it off from there. I joke with some of my mates. I say United and Liverpool have become the new Arsenal. Transfer window comes, they sign one player, and all the hype will go on for the 3 months. The transfer window will be open. At the last minute, they'll be jostling for players, and the fans it will look like they try to do something. They look like a team, a club that doesn't have plans in everything. Right now, all the story is Maguire is holding the team to ransom because they need to sell him. He needs to go for them to be able to get Amrabat. This is the story that we are used to hearing from in Arsenal like 5-6 years ago. Then, so on Casemiro, there's another line of argument that the way the midfield is structured is the reason why he's playing poorly. That is heavily exposed. Are you in sync with this argument, or do you think Casemiro as a person needs to do better?
I think it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. I think more of the fact that the personnel around him are not adequate to help him, really flourish. That's part of it. If he had more solid guys around him, maybe the midfield would be a bit more solid, and he will be able to thrive. But really, what is Casemiro known for? Casemiro has never been known to be this midfielder that distributes the ball so well. He's never been known. What he's known for is he's pretty much a destroyer. He's there to make sure that the other team doesn't do whatever they want. If they have a danger man, he's there to nullify the threat from that danger man, right? So, unfortunately, I think United, the way he came into the league, he really helped their midfield last year. And the likes of Fred and McTominay made some contributions that were really underrated and undervalued and underappreciated. But because of the big name called Casemiro, everybody gave Casemiro all the accolades and really pretty much bumped the rest of the guys by the side. Now those guys are not there, and we are seeing Casemiro, the same Casemiro, He scored some. Again, one other thing that he does well is score important goals.
Yeah.
In important games, he scores goals, right? So, but the way it is now, the protection that he had both at Madrid and perhaps a bit of it last season from the so-called bad players isn't there anymore. And I don't think anybody in their right thinking would expect Casemiro to run the show as in make the plays for United. If any United fan is waiting on Casemiro to become a playmaker that will, dictate the pace of games for them, I'm sorry, they are completely deluded. He's never been that kind of player to depend on to distribute passes. So you see, it's all part of expectations. On the other hand, the man is not a spring chicken anymore, right? It's just like bringing Modric. Modric, for all his talent, will not be able to do what he's doing if he's brought to the EPL now, because you have young boys that are full of energy, that run nonstop all game, playing now. Midfielders, the likes of Caicedo and all that. So bring all of them. These older guys will not be able to match up energy-wise and even physicality-wise. So the guy is a recipe for disaster for United. He needs a partner that will be a bit more creative, but also have the energy to help him mark in the middle so that he can do what he does best.
Maybe that's why they're crying for Amrabat. Mimi, I'm coming to you, but Richard, you have something to add.
And please, can I just say something real quickly about United's approach? Yes, it may not, it's not popular, it's not funny to their fans, but I think I have a bit of sympathy in the sense that they need to get rid of some players before they buy some, which is the same thing that Arsenal are trying to do now. The only difference is that Arsenal actually invested early and got their first choice players, right? That's the only difference. But Arsenal still need to beef up their squad, but they need to get rid of some people. On the other hand, United did not get their first choice players. They got some players in, and now they need to get rid of some players to get more players. So, yeah.
Yeah, Richard, I see your hands up. You have anything to say before I go to Nini?
Yeah, talking about United, I think they've moved away from their culture. If you remember, when Ferguson was coach, he had this habit of he'd always have one player that was like unfashionable in that midfield, but he'd be the person that the team to an extent would actually revolve around. You remember Darren Fletcher?
Mm-hmm.
Then in defense, they have people like John O'Shea,
Michael Carrick.
Those were glory days.
Exactly. Scott McTominay is that sort of player. And the other thing that people are overlooking is that when they bought Casemiro, McTominay kept him out of the team for a minute. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he was keeping him out of the team, what now happened? That now Casemiro is playing on and they're looking to sell McTominay. The other thing that I think is instructive is the people that have worked with him want to buy him. Look at Moyes at West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to buy McTominay. I don't know what the deal is, why they can't get it over the line, but my point is that I think Ten Hag is missing something. I think he's a bit blinded by maybe reputation and Champions League winning and Real Madrid, but I think Casemiro is going to be found out.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Nini, let's go to Forest because this game is between two teams. If you were to be a Forest fan, I don't, how do they approach this? How do you think they can get something out of this game at Old Trafford?
Well, thank you very much. I think Forest is going to go with an approach of sit down and catch United on the break. So this actually is going to be a good game for United. I heard everybody speak good points. To me personally, most of the players in United, the team is not balanced in terms of positionally. Casemiro, yes, everybody's saying Casemiro. This is a man that has won so many trophies. He has proven himself. Last season, he proved himself because he had an Eriksen by his side. You need a player that you could give that ball to, and he could give that pass out. He could build from the back too. This is it. They wanted to go with a different route in Mason Mount. Mason Mount was a Chelsea player. I think the formation, having Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes, it's making Casemiro do two jobs at a time. He can't do that. He's at an age right now where he can't be that mobile. So Mason Mount is going to be out for this week. So we should expect Eriksen back. That should be today. The game against Nottingham Forest, I expect United to win easily. Again, Nottingham Forest, the only thing I will see Nottingham Forest striking will be set piece. The likes of Awoniyi and the big players, Bolly, that they have, Ferguson that they have, they could catch them and do set piece. But I think this would be a comfortable win. I believe Højlund will be back this week. I think he should be back based on what I'm hearing. If he starts, that would mean Rashford goes back to his right position, which is on the left, where he has to cut in. Garnacho goes to the bench. And as for Anthony, the one-trick pony, I don't know why they spent all that money on Anthony, but I think as this season progresses, I'm predicting he will lose his starting spot. It's either going to be Garnacho or Sanchez going to take that position, but Anthony, based on how he's going, will lose that spot. And I believe Manchester United will click the moment they figure out there's that change of formation. Maybe they could play double pivot and a 10 in Fernandes, but they will click the moment they figure out that formation tweak and playing players at their right position. Mind you, just end it all. The body language of players says it all. Watch Mason Mount when he plays. He still doesn't understand the role he's been asked to play at United.
Whose fault is it? Whose fault? Whose fault is it?
I'm going to come to that. Rashford, watch his body language. He's not happy playing as a number 9.
Of course, he doesn't want to play there. Yeah,
he doesn't want to play there. So it's whose fault is it? Does the player have to change to fit the team, or the team has to change to fit the player? I'll let you answer that, John.
No, seriously.
I have a question. For Nimi.
Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, Nimi, I think your analysis is quite refreshing. This question has bothered me for a few days now. Mason Mount.
Yeah.
Every club, I guess, has fans that will always find a scapegoat. That young man has become the brunt of jokes, since he joined United. And I'm wondering, as a Chelsea fan, all the years that he played for you guys, are you one of the guys that didn't find anything good in him? If there's anything good in Mr. Mount, please tell us. If you feel he has certain qualities, please outline those qualities for us.
Let's go with statistics. I'm a guy that I love statistics, because statistics, they tell us, they set a precedence, right? Mason Mount played about 3 seasons in Chelsea, full straight 3 seasons. He won 2 Player of the Year award for Chelsea. What was his position?
Are you serious? 2 Player of the Year award?
2 Player of the Year awards. Go check it out.
Okay. In the dressing room.
In Chelsea, for Chelsea FC. He was our player of the season for 2 years.
Okay.
So yeah, I remember one, yes.
Yeah, actually, what position did he play? Mason Mount is good for behind it. He's like a player that will go in, press. He presses, he wins that ball. Creativity hasn't been his forte, but creativity hasn't been his forte, but he has always nicked in those goals those long strikes, those goals. And one thing about Mason Mount is his work rate. It's his work rate. So this season, I'm thinking Ten Hag saw in him, he wanted a situation where Manchester United could press from the opposition's
counter press. Okay.
from the positions forward, where the oppositions could lose the ball, and Mason Mount is good for those opposition losing the ball. He goes in, he strikes that ball. But the problem that I see is Mason Mount is still trying to figure out, because remember in Chelsea, again, we didn't have a classic number 10 in the Fernandez there.
Yes.
There was 2 pivots and 1 Mason Mount pressing. Here you have a Fernandez who is like, I consider him like an orchestra player.
Who wants to get on the ball
like,
all the time?
He wants to get on the ball. Mason Mount now is confused. What do I do? He's being caught in the middle. Yeah.
So Nimi, how did he go from winning 2 Player of the Year season awards to becoming so hated by Chelsea fans? What do you think happened there?
Yeah, I think what happened was he got injured, and there was a dip in form, and that coincided with Chelsea, with all the Graham Potter and all the negativity that came. So fans will be fans. There has to be a scapegoat. Someone has to pay for that.
And again, he refused to sign the new contract and was asking
And he
for
refused to sign. Yeah, he refused to sign that contract to stay at Chelsea. And invariably, another thing with Chelsea fans that I share with them, his goodbye message to the Chelsea fans made us even hate him more. It was just like there was no passion, there was no, he just came in and so we wish him good luck. And you know, people are happy about it. I like Mason Mount, but I don't want Manchester United to be successful. So I'm happy.
Me too.
Nice one.
I hear what you say. You said, especially what you said about Nottingham Forest, but I believe they can get something out of this game because United right now is not doing well going forward. And Nottingham Forest are a team that likes to sit back and they're very, very efficient in the counter. If you remember last season, I think they beat Arsenal at Emirates and narrowly escaped with a 1-1 draw at home. So if they...
It was the other way around.
It was the other way around.
Okay, they beat us in their home.
They beat us, yes, and we hammered them. We hammered them at the Emirates, 5-0.
So they're a team that like to sit back and hit you on a counter. I remember this Awoniyi scored against us home and away, you know, through a counter. Even the game we played the first game this season, he scored again with the same counter. So if United don't
Reggie, you're forgetting something. You said last season. You're forgetting something.
Yeah.
They bought 2 players. One presses. Aina presses from here, the right. Now they have Elanga. Elanga has done his hair and he's a beast. Did you see what he did when he came as a sub
against Arsenal
during Arsenal game?
Yeah, so I believe
I couldn't recognize him. I didn't know he was the one, but I kept shouting, "Who is that guy? Who is that guy in the left wing? Who is that guy in the left wing?" And then it came close and I saw he was the one. So last season and Nottingham this season doesn't look the same. There's something happening there. And there's this guy in their midfield. I'm trying to remember his name.
Gibson. The English guy.
Gibbs, yeah.
He will run circles around anybody who doesn't want to play football this weekend. So I don't see United. No.
I'll tell you something, Choma. I'll tell you something, Choma. Manchester United will win that game convincingly. Why do I say so? Okay. Eriksen will be back. What that means is when Eriksen comes back, he may not have that energy again, right? But he's an upgrade in terms of recycling the ball from the off and from the defense to the offense. And remember, the Manchester United have a +1, which is the goalkeeper Onana. So they're gonna press. They're gonna put that ball. They're gonna press. What do you call it? Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest will come in with a game plan of we're gonna defend and catch them on the break. Mind you, Onana is right there. And I could tell you for a fact that Manchester United will win this game convincingly.
Okay,
Um,
we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. Let's move because we'll spend some time. Another exciting game that I'm still trying to wrap my head around how this was going to pan out is Brighton playing at home to West Ham. Brighton has shown since the last couple of seasons to be a very exciting team. Just like Tony said about Brentford, they have been able to establish a system that any player even from back home in Nigeria comes into Brighton today, they fit in and they shine. Danny Welbeck is a player that Arsenal and Man United fans don't really rate. He's gone to Brighton and he's been playing week in, week, except when he's injured. So to mention one player, if I must do that, is the Mitoma. The guy has come up to age and is doing bits in EPL from the beginning, from last season. This season continued from where he stopped. Ugun, how do you expect this game to pan out?
I'm sorry, I lost. I didn't quite get which sides are you talking about?
Yeah, Brighton is going to play against West Ham this weekend. And Brighton has been that's your team. I know you. That's your second team in EPL.
That's an interesting one. I think that Brighton are incredible. You know, they have an incredible coach, have an incredible side. The guys are really dominant. You know, playing really good football and scoring goals now. So, on the other hand, West Ham are a side that you cannot really predict how they will do on a particular day, right? I would expect Brighton to really, you know, stifle them with their football, but West Ham are very pragmatic, and they are an embodiment representative of their coach, who I think is just a very pragmatic manager. He adapts to the conditions and tries to win the best way he can, and so Moyes is going to set them up to close up all those channels that Brighton would normally use to play their triangles and get into your 18. It's not gonna be easy for them to penetrate West Ham and score goals. And West Ham also have improved in the attack. They're about to sign Kudus, I hear, Mohamed Kudus, who will really help them. And the likes of Lucas Paqueta are still there. He hasn't gone anywhere yet. So West Ham stand a chance. I would call this perhaps either a draw or a slight marginal win for Brighton.
Yeah, so Choma, do you think Brighton have what it takes? I know they play exciting football, but I don't really know if they have the qualities to unlock teams who sit back and try to play on a counter. Do you think they have? Brighton is a team that, for me, thrives when the game is open, when both teams come out to play. They know how to play around teams in the midfield, run at you, press you. But when teams sit back, do you think they have what it takes to unlock the kind of structure that David Moyes typically, deploys with his teams?
Okay, Brighton as a team, they are very interesting. It's a very interesting team. I mean, they have succeeded from last season until this season. They've succeeded in embedding their players in teams. We have one. It's a pity that, Chelsea got the one with the hair product, and I don't know how that is working. And now they have Caicedo, but they have a structure. So for me, it's structure versus structure. Okay, but what's going to happen on that day is who is more creative. And now we know who Mitoma is. He runs and carries a defender from behind. I've seen him do that. And it's not just highlights. I've seen him do that. He's fast on the ball. He's quick. He's very resourceful. You don't see him coming. Thank God for his height. So West Ham, they like to come in with some surprises, yeah. But for me, I think it's a win for Brighton.
So we'll end it here. I don't know. I want us to do a little bit of a prediction for the games. I have 5 games here. Richard, are you up for it, Tony?
I am.
Yeah. So we have the first game is Chelsea at home to Luton Town. I'll start with you, Richard. What's your prediction on this one?
I think Chelsea. I think it will be closer than. I don't think they will defeat Luton heavily, but they'll win. That's
So
right.
what score are you going to give it?
Maybe 2-0.
2-0?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tony.
Yes, I'll have to agree with Richard on this one because it's Luton Town. They are condemned to beat this team. Really, they are. I'm not to disrespect Luton, but Chelsea have what it takes. It's just the team hasn't gelled yet. So 2-0, I will call it as well.
Okay. For me, I'll go 2-1 Chelsea. Then we have Bournemouth at home to Spurs.
Tricky,
Very, very.
very tricky. But it was a good Tottenham that we saw against
United.
was it United. So, but Bournemouth brings something different. They bring they're a little bit unpredictable sometimes, but the season is just starting. I expect this to go down to the wire. 2-1 Tottenham.
Okay, 2-1 Tottenham. Richard. You're mute. I can't hear you.
I think Tottenham will win, unfortunately. You know that is always painful for an Arsenal fan. I think Tottenham will win. I'd say on the strength of how they played last weekend. If they play the way they played in their last match, I think they're good for another
2-1.
2-0. I don't think Bournemouth can score.
Okay. I'll go this one, a 1-1 draw. Bournemouth will score in this game. It's going to be a draw, but it could be 2-2, but I believe it's going to be. Then we'll have Brentford at home to Crystal Palace. Tony. Another exciting game. Very, very.
One or draw. I just keep it brief.
Okay. Richard, let's go.
It's going to be close.
I don't think so. I think Brentford will win 3-1.
Okay, Richard says 3-1. I'll go Brentford 2-1. The United at home to Nottingham Forest.
Very tricky.
Very.
Very tricky, Reggie. You know, the thing about Nottingham Forest is people always write them off, yet they are very ruthless. And no one is making any serious case about Owoni. Call it luck, fluke, or whatever. He just manages to score in big games.
Exactly.
I'm not just talking about any kind of game. I mean big games.
And the Langa is coming home.
Yeah, so with the way United played their last game, I mean, anything can happen. Nothing seems to be going right for them. So I wouldn't rule out any chance of really Nottingham Forest feeling they can.
But don't forget the 12th man at Old Trafford, though.
Forget about the 12th man. You know, he often doesn't come to party games like this. It's always because on this one they will want to write them off, so he can take a break. So, but I'll still give it to them. I'll say 2-1 again to United, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes Nottingham Forest.
Richard.
1-1.
That's wicked, man. That's quite wicked. He gave them no chance. He said 4-1. We don't know which team.
No, I said 1-1.
He said 1-1.
Oh, great.
Yeah, he said 1-1.
Great. That's spot on.
I will go 2-2 in this game. Yeah, United will score. And Nottingham Forest will score as well. No, I changed my mind actually. United will win 2-1. United will win 2-1.
You're stealing my scores.
Then we have Brighton at home to West Ham.
Tell me about it. West Ham. Yeesh. Let Richard start this one.
Richard has been bullish in these predictions. Let's hear him again.
You know, the way Brighton cannot continue the way they started. The bubble will burst. It may not be this weekend, but and West Ham are capable of getting a result. The same way nobody expected them to beat Chelsea. They're capable of getting a result. They'll be confident. They're going to the league leaders. So although I think Brighton will score, but I think West Ham will win 2-1.
2-1 West Ham.
Honestly, I don't see West Ham winning this.
I hope you remember that West Ham is away in this game.
Yes, now. Yeah.
Okay.
I really do not see West Ham winning this. It would be like a big surprise. You know, I've seen Brighton play, and they are really full of confidence. You know, going into this one, it's going to be tough. West Ham won't go out just firing because it's Brighton. Brighton will be the one to attack and may likely score. So I'll predict this game 2-1 or 3-1 in favor of Brighton.
2-1, bro. You make up your mind. 2-1 or 3-1.
Just respect to West Ham. Let me say 2-1.
Okay. Yeah, I have reservation. It's a 2-1 Brighton, right?
Yeah.
I have a reservation with Brighton when it comes to breaking down teams. When they play against teams who are aggressive, who are open to play, Brighton will play you. They will play around you. They will press you. They can get it out of you. But I'm not sure about them playing against teams who have low blocks. I'm not still know how if they have the ability to break down teams like that. So, and Newcastle, West Ham coming to Brighton, I don't care what anybody says. David Moyes is going to set up in the same way, try to play on a counter, which is going to make it difficult for Brighton to get goals. So I'm looking at this one as a draw. Like Richard said, Brighton has not matured into that team that will go and win 4 or 5 games on a spin. They still have their blips in between games, but they just keep, turning out results every now and then. So I go for a draw in this one, 1-1. Then the game of the week, Newcastle, Liverpool. Who's going first?
I'm tempted to go for.
Okay.
I'm tempted to go for Newcastle. I think because they're at home and they're just coming off a defeat to City, they will be the hungrier side. They want to start making those statements early. And don't forget they have players who can score goals. People don't understand that. Even as we speak, Alexander Isak is just number 3 on the scorers chart. He hasn't really gone so bad. They only lost to City, so it's not what any team can beat up themselves for. I'll give them, again, I'll call it 2-1 in favor of Newcastle.
Okay, Richard.
Last week, I thought Newcastle would get some sort of result against Manchester City. They didn't. I think that they'll do better against Liverpool. I don't think so. I think it will end 2-2.
Okay, I'll go for a new. Oh, Tony, I didn't write what you said.
I said 2-1 Newcastle.
Newcastle. Okay. Yeah, I'll go for a 3-2 Newcastle win. Liverpool will score, Newcastle will score. Because Newcastle will come out in this game, try to score goals. They will concede, but they will score Liverpool. 3-2. So, guys, this is where we'll call it the end for this weekend's preview. We look forward to our predictions by next week, Monday. We should be able to, to know how this one panned out. It looks to be a very exciting weekend for fans. There are so many games to look forward to, not just the club you support, but there are so many games out there. There's Brentford against Crystal Palace. There's United at home to Forest. Brighton is going to be at home to West Ham. Okay, we didn't do Arsenal.
I was going to say that.
I was going.
Arsenal, Fulham.
I was like, did you just rule out Fulham?
Arsenal, Fulham. Richard.
Hopefully we'll score goals. 4-0.
Ish. Ish. Ish.
Tony.
Fulham very funny, a very funny team. They only managed to beat I think it was Everton, right? At the beginning of the season. So
Yeah.
I expect Arsenal to win and win convincingly in this one. I would say 3-1 Arsenal.
3-1. Tony, you stole my score in my mind. Yeah, I also went for Arsenal. We win 3-1 because Arsenal is used to conceding goals at
Yeah,
home because we just come out at teams like they're not going to attack us. So I see Fulham scoring one in this one. Arsenal run away with a 3-1 lead. Like I said, as a football fan, you need to clear your calendar this weekend. There are so many games to watch, so many exciting games potentially, especially on paper. Arsenal, Fulham, for me as an Arsenal fan, of course, they not miss. Newcastle is going to be at home to Liverpool, Brighton, West Ham, United against Nottingham Forest, Brentford will be at home to Crystal Palace, and Bournemouth at home to Spurs. They also within Chelsea, of course, they need to bounce back. They're going to be at home to Luton Town. City is going to play away to Sheffield United. We expect them to. It's not one of our key games this weekend. We expect them to run away with the 3 points on that one. So, guys, thank you for coming to the show, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Our viewers will remind you again, if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscription button, like and share this video, and let us know your opinion on the topics we have discussed. It's been a long one. It's been an exciting episode this weekend. We also want to hear your opinion, and let's also see your predictions in the comment section, and we'll review them when we come in the post-game episode next week, Monday. Thank you for coming to the show, gentlemen, and it was always a pleasure being with you, Tony. Sorry, we always keep you late over there. It's got the time difference, and thank you for the sacrifice. I really appreciate you. The same thing with you, Richard. I've been trying to get you guys, Richard especially, I've been trying to get you on the show because most times it's late for you, but I'm happy that you're able to, find time to join us today. Thank you very much, and I wish you luck over the weekend. We'll see you again on Monday.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, bye, guys.
Bye.